Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is Serial Gaming here, and let's talk about the newest character that will be getting his LD, which is also my least favorite Final Fantasy IX character. I beg your pardon. So if Steiner is your favorite character, I mean, good for you, but definitely if I shit on him, I hope you don't mind. Okay, so anyway, let's get started with Cid Raine first before we talk about Steiner. So basically this is gonna be Cid Raine Lost Chapter, and Cid Raine basically has no changes to his base kit. I mean, it's not really a big surprise, he's just too good upon release, so they just did not upgrade him any further. His EX with the Crystal Level 90 upgrade does get 1 extra HP dump. Other than that, it's still similar, just 20% splash, and everything else is still the same. His additional ability now extended up to 7 turns with a 20% party max bravery up, 10% party overflow up, and 20% party brave damage cap up. But other than that, yes, Cid Raine doesn't get any changes. He also won't be getting his rerun until the most recent JP stage, which happened yesterday, which is Pandemonium Spiritus, where Cid Raine will be getting his FR and BT plus there. So if you want to consider getting him during the early FR era, you can only get him now, because like I said, he won't be available later. So Cid Raine is essentially a single target damage dealer. Although he does have AOE splash damage in his kit, but his damage is very focused on single target since his damage mainly comes from launches. So for those who never used Cid Raine before, essentially Cid Raine will have a follow-up after he initiates a launch. After the 2 allies that follow up with him, or the 1 ally depend on your turn, he will follow up after that last HP attack, which is his most devastating attack. So Cid Raine is actually the first 1 million gang that we get in global, or even in JP. His damage is actually quite surprising upon release. He was definitely the follow-up with the Tifa trend, because Tifa LD also got released quite early around Cid Raine's era. He's actually quite a slow unit, to be honest. He's not those kind of unit like Tifa that actually gain a lot of turns. So with that in regards, he's also a turn manipulator that works well with other turn manipulators. In what way, I'll be explaining a little while later in the team composition section. So Cid Raine is also one of the best LD calls that you will want to get if you don't have him. That is, his LD call essentially allows the user to launch in all of the attack, and this is especially good because the LD call doesn't reduce during BT phase. So the effect will last the entire BT phase, which means that you can launch every attack during your BT phase. So if you're not running units like Selphie or units like Keiss, you can actually use Cid Raine's call, abuse it to have your unit to do maximum launches during the BT phase. As for the team composition, naturally Ram and Aphamu is what first came into mind when playing with units like Cid Raine, because they actually provides more turn to him so that he can actually manipulate them to the front again, and then so on and so forth. So basically they're just gonna warp each other so that the enemies can't get any turns despite not having much delayers in the team itself. He also works really good with unit that enables launchers to hit harder, like for example Selphie and of course Keiss themselves. And lastly, Cid Raine's launches heavily relies on Brave Gain Up, because his attack during his follow-up is ignore defense attack, so he of course as a launcher benefit a lot from Brave Gain Up to maximize the launches between the party members. Units such as Porom, Garnet, and Paine are a very prime example. During the early Lufenia Plus era, Cid Raine, Bart, and Aphamu is actually the most popular combo that people use to nuke stages out. So you can see where the benefit of running Cid Raine with this unit is. Regardless, Cid Raine is a very strong unit upon his initial release, and he's sort of okayish right now, but he will be stronger again during his FR and BT plus. But other than that, I don't see a reason to pull for Cid Raine unless you're going for that call. His call itself is worth it though, but yes, that's my opinion on him right now. With unit like Zag and Ramza, if you want to go for a damage dealer, I think those are better option. And coming up next, we have the Thin Man. Alright, so Steiner, I'm gonna say again, he's my least favorite character in the game itself. so I might want to skip him, but then again he's great sword, so he's like prompting me to pull for him just because I can max him out with my ultimate weapon. Anyway, I kept out my ticket as well, so I might throw some tickets on him, but let's talk about his utility first. His skill 1 now does a 3 single target HP attack and inflict a very generic attack down debuff, but that's about it. His skill 2 plus, which is very easy to obtain since the plus version is tied to the buff that is obtained through using his skill 1 or his skill 2. So yes, definitely no reason for you to have the original skill 2. So the skill 2 plus is a 3 single target HP attack with a 50% splash and batteries the entire party. His EX with the Crystal Level 90 upgrade also batteries the party right now with 3 single target HP attack and a 100% splash. He also improved his EX buff, which now provides a 40% party attack up and a 20% party stolen and gain overflow up. His additional ability now extended to 7 turns, which provides a 20% party max bravery up and a 10% party overflow and brave gain up. So Steiner also get his LD here, which is weird because the attack is a 1 single target HP attack followed up by a 3 AOE full HP attack. So yeah, it's really weird how it wrote instead of 4 full HP attack. They just decided to give 3 and 1 useless single target HP attack. Anyway, it provides 1 free skill after using it, and he has access to a new LD buff, which provides a 200% party defense up, a party HP regen based on 20% of their max HP, 20% party HP damage up, and 20% party brave gains up, as well as 30% party HP damage resist up. It also batteries the entire party based on 55% of Steiner's max bravery every few turns. If you're wondering how it works, it's actually quite similar to Kral's EX, except right now, since it's tied to Steiner's buff, basically it won't expire, so Steiner is just going to batteries the entire party every single action or every single turn, regardless if it's his own allies or if the enemy taking that turn itself. Alright, so Steiner is basically a break prevention unit since he has a very strong defensive buff and constant battery to the entire party. I mean, that 200% defense up is actually pretty sweet. And with the party basically fully battery, but basically they will get fully battery every turn since 50% Steiner max bravery is actually quite a lot. So taking that into account, you might say that it's really hard for the enemy to break you. Though his HP attack, the amount of HP attack he has, I'm gonna say is really weak. I think Steiner is a little bit sad in that situation because he hasn't been getting his rework for a very long time and he hasn't been too relevant. So even with the buff that he gets right now, he's kind of good-ish, but it's not too good. It's still less desirable to me since this era actually promotes more HP attack. So I definitely feel a little bit inclined to go for him just because of this. But anyway, he also doesn't have any brave damage up. So units that actually relies on him as a support might be difficult finding to cap their own bravery. He's a rather hybrid playstyle unit. His his aura is all over the place. He has HP damage up, he has defense, he has party HP damage resist up, and he also has batteries and HP regens as well as bravery regens. So I would say his buff is, like I said, all over the place, but he lacks some of the essential buff that makes him as a solid support. The best part about him though is having Vivi in his party. I mean, everyone loves Vivi, right? But definitely not a lot of people like Steiner, like me. So yes, the best part about him, Vivi in the party. Anyway, if we are looking for units that actually goes really well with Steiner, I would say that counters and trap units are the best to go well with him. Since Steiner promotes party defense up means that he doesn't care about the enemy taking turns and inflict damage to your party. And since he batteries the entire party, units that relies on counter or trap in that situation will have their damage maximized with the amount of batteries they get. So units like Trey or Firion or even Emperor can actually gain really well beneficial from Steiner's attack. Of course, Steiner also provides a brave gain up, although not a lot, like I think 30% overall with the additional ability. So units that actually relies on Brave Gain Up and batteries can go well with him as well, such as Cid Raine himself, Vaan, and of course Tifa, and many more. But these are just one of the few examples I can think of right now. So like I mentioned before, since Steiner provides the entire party 200% party defense up, so if you're running him, you don't have to be afraid of the enemies taking turn. So with that in mind, if you want to fully utilize his kit, probably don't run him with turn hoggers or delayers, since that might not make his party defense up utility any useful. For an interesting team comp, I think him and Beatrix, which is the couple in Final Fantasy IX, would actually work well together. They have a lot of defense up in their kit, and Beatrix has that counter and batteries the entire party as well. I might try this too in a team composition together. For fun, I don't know, maybe perhaps, but alright. So anyway, my plan for this banner is pulling for Steiner with tickets. Hopefully I get him. If I do get him, I'll be putting him with my Great Sword Ultimate Weapon to test him out with Beatrix herself. So hopefully they'll be really good together. Although I'm not sure which of the two I'll be putting my weapons at. I think Beatrix would benefit more since her damage is a lot better, but for the case of showcasing Steiner himself, I might put on him. But I'm interested to run in that team composition just like I mentioned before. I already have Cid Raine in my main account and I don't have him in my alternate account naturally, but I'm not sure whether I'll be pulling just for Cid Raine himself. He's good as a call, but that's about it. I can survive without him since I already survived without him in JP. I rely a lot on Selphie though. So if I'm skipping on Cid Raine in my alternate account, I will be pulling for Selphie, and if I pull for Cid Raine, I will be skipping Selphie and vice versa, so you understand how that works. In my main account, I have both, so it's a lot more flexible for my main account. I don't really remember what was the orb requirement for Cid Raine's Lufenia Plus, and if I'm not wrong, I remember that the orb is not lethal, because I remember duoing it with Zack and Locke, and I'm pretty sure they don't actually help with the orb. So I'll see how it goes. Anyway, what are the plans for you guys to pull on this banner? Are you guys going for him, or are you guys waiting for Anacross to actually pull for Zack's BT if you still haven't get him? Well, regardless of whether or not you guys are going for him, I wish you all the best in your pulls, and I hope I can get him with just tickets. I don't want to spend any much more than 100, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.